Did you know you can configure basic Office 365 security for free? Let's get right into it. So let's say, hypothetically speaking, of course, your organization does not have a large security budget and you are the administrator for the Office 365 environment. Let's also say hypothetically that your organization does not have those fancy Microsoft Security E3 or E5 licenses, but you still have the requirement to configure security as far as possible. Well, there is some good news. We can make use of the built-in tools that we have, for example, Exchange Online Protection, to help secure the environment as far as possible. So today our focus is going to be on Exchange Online Protection and also focus on dangerous attachment types and how we can block those from a security point of view. Alright, so before we get into too deep in this demo, first let's just paint a picture of what we are going to do. So first off, we are going to confirm that with a basic Exchange Online rollout, users will still be able to send and receive attachment types such as zip, RAR, ISO and IMG file types. Secondly, we are going to configure Exchange Online Protection to block these file attachment types. And lastly, we are going to confirm that the configuration we have done is working as expected. Alright, so I have went ahead and created a new Yahoo email account, and this will be considered our bad guys account. So if we have a look at the name, I have named this account badguys007@yahoo.com. Because hey, who doesn't want to be the bad guy in a James Bond movie? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send an email from this account to my Office 365 organization, and I'm going to attach two file types. I'm going to attach a .iso file and a .zip file. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to send from my bad guys email address, I'm going to send it to my 365 organization, and that is the rian@safezone.fun domain, which has been registered and configured with a vanilla setup in 365. And I'm going to send a .zip and a .iso file, and I'm going to pretend that I am a Nigerian prince and I want to give millions to Rian. So in the real world, these two file types will be malicious file types. These are just text file types that I've just renamed to .zip and .iso for demonstration purposes, but the goal is to send this through and see if 365 or Exchange Online will accept this email, even though these might be potentially harmful file types. So let's go ahead and send this over. And there you go, our email has been sent. So let's pull up our Office 365 Outlook Online tab. Alright, so I've signed into my Exchange Online account or my Outlook Online account with my rian@safezone.fun, which is my 365 tenant, which is licensed. And here we can see Nigerian Prince, please open attached files. And I am able to download these file types. And theoretically, I am able to open these file types. Even though if I open this ISO file, it will just give me an error because it's not really an ISO file, but just for demonstration purposes, let me just see if we can actually open this file type. So in the real world, if this was a malicious file type, this would have been executed and some bad stuff would be happening on our system right now. And the worst thing of all is that our administrator would not even have known this has happened. Alright, so now that we know what the problem is, let's start looking at a solution. Alright, so I have successfully signed into portal.office365.com as a global admin, and let's browse over to the Exchange Online Protection Blade. So let's click on this ellipse here and let's have a look at all of the admin areas. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to click on Show All. And here are all of our admin centers, and we are looking for the Exchange admin center. So let's click on that one. Alright, so now that we're in the Exchange Admin Center, what we want to do is we want to create a new rule to say we need to block certain file types for internal and external users. So let's go ahead and go under mail flow. We can see I already have other basic rules, but that are not security related. So let's go ahead and create a new rule for our purpose. So let's say create a new rule. And we're going to give this one a name saying block specific file attachment types. And we're going to go to more options. And we're going to say apply this rule if any attachment, and we're going to then choose file extension includes these words. And we are going to block .zip, .rar, .iso, and .img. So if we receive an email throughout our organization which has a file type of any of these file extension matches, then we need to do the following. So let's drop down and say, and what we're going to do is we're going to say block the message, and we're going to then say reject the message and include an explanation. And then we're going to just give a simple explanation with something along the lines of email attachment type not supported, please contact IT support at SafeZone.fun. All right. And then we can add another action to say, and we're going to say notify the recipient with a message. We're going to say sender could not send the required attachment files as these file types are blocked by the SafeZone organization. So what we're doing here is we're also notifying the recipient saying, well, we know you're expecting an email from Bob with an attachment type. However, he's not allowed to send that file types. And it's also quite important to specify which organization is blocking it. So let's say, for example, both the sender and the receiver or the recipient both uses Exchange Online, as the email system. And if you just get a very generic message saying that, it's been blocked, the administrators might not always know who is blocking what, where. So it's important to include what organization is actually blocking, the specific file types. And then we can just scroll down here. And we're going to say we're going to enforce this rule. It does not need to process any further rules. It knows exactly what to do, and we're going to go ahead and click save. So what we're going to do is we're going to give this rule 10 minutes to replicate. And as soon as that's done, we are going to try and send the exact same email to our Riaan@SafeZone.fun account. And let's see if Exchange Online is actually going to block our attachment types now. Right, so let's open up our badguys007@yahoo.com email again. And we're going to say it's me, the prince again, and I'm going to drag and drop the .zip and the .iso file types, which are malicious. All right, so let's go ahead and click on send. And let's open up our Riaan@SafeZone.fun account. And here we can see that the sender could not send the required attachment file types as these types are blocked by the SafeZone.fun organization. So now we know our rule is working as expected. And that's how you can keep your organization safe from potentially harmful or malicious file types. And just to give you guys an idea of how it looks like on the bad guy side of things is he received a notification. So let's open that up. And as we can see, Here we can see that the sender, which is Bad Guys 007, it sent successfully. It was received by Office 365, but at the last leg of SafeZone.fun, which is our organization, it was blocked due to a mail flow rule. So I have included here the need to contact IT support. In the real world, you would not like to give, too much information to potential bad guys, but just as a demo so you guys can understand how it looks like from the person sending the mail and also receiving the mail on, it's possible to configure some notification types so that they understand of what's going on in the environment. And the best of all is that you do not have to buy a specific license in order to do this. If you have Exchange Online license, which means you have access to Exchange Online Center, by default, you can then go ahead and configure these rules to make your organization as safe as possible without buying very expensive licenses. I hope this was quite informative for you guys. And as always, leave a like, leave a comment. If there's any questions, pop it in the comment section below. I will get back to you guys. But hopefully this will get you guys one step closer to being safe in your organization, from unwanted criminals. Thanks guys, have a good one, and see you in the next video. I'm out.